Welcome to Murphy, Sam, and Jody after the show.
You know, we were mentioning earlier that Murphy and I went to see my pawpaw this weekend. Yesterday, we had a really good visit with him, and that he explained that he prays for each one of us every night, says our names out loud, everybody in the family, and I thought that was so beautiful. And I mean, I know he does it. He's not just going to say something like that. That means he does it.
He also wants you to read the Bible for him, right?
Well, he
or
wants
somebody.
someone to come read to him, especially the book of James, because he's not able to read anymore because of his eyesight. And he loved to read.
He's 91, and he's a former Baptist preacher, so that's the reason. I mean, the thing is, even when you sit and you visit with him casually like that, he can't help it but kind of go into that
God.
mode, and it's really sweet. I mean,
It's who he is.
It is who he is. It's in his DNA.
Yeah.
Do you see it as a sign from somewhere up above that you should be doing this, reading to him?
I do think that I would be one of the ones in the family who could and would do it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of us in the family will do anything for him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
But we could do that together if you want to. Take turns.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because here's what I was thinking.
Murphy would be good.
You know, if your schedule's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
having to get out to Pawpaws to read to him, don't worry, I'm not about to volunteer.
Record
it. It's like Audible for him.
I know.
Book of
I've thought of
James.
that, and I'm sure there's other recordings already. But
Oh, yeah, that's true.
what he wants is also
Companionship.
companionship.
Okay.
He wants somebody to be there with him. You know, and I understand that. And what a beautiful. Instead of high-teching it up. To me, it's more beautiful for your granddaughter to come sit and read it to you.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that's more up his alley of the wish.
Yeah.
That way we don't have to say it's the next best thing to being there.
But he was very specific. He said, and somebody just read it to me, and not fast, he said.
Yeah.
He knows the world moves way too fast.
Yeah.
And, because he has these vision problems, he's not driving anymore, and he's not watching TV anymore. He's listening to TV. He also listens to us every morning, you should know,
Oh,
Sam.
good.
He, turns the radio up. He showed us while we were there. He says, you see this? He has his radio right next to his chair in the living room, and it's got it on the station. It's really cool. But when we were getting ready to leave, the thing about leaving Papa's house is that you get up to leave, you tell him goodbye, you're standing there, and he ends up going into other stories to where you're standing there for a long time, the long goodbye. Like a lot of families have the long goodbye.
Yeah, your family's known for that. Mine certainly was, and is.
Yeah. And so did you catch what he had to say during the long goodbye, Murphy, that just touched my heart? And I feel like I need to find a way to let the family know he said this to us. Not that he probably hasn't said it to his, my mother, his daughter, and everybody else, but we started talking about Christmas is coming, and we may be doing Christmas differently this year with our family because it's such a huge family. We might have to break it up and not do which would be the first time in our lives as a family that we've not done a big Christmas Eve get together where he talks about the family, talks about God, just tells us a story and sings. So beautiful. But the gifts. And he was so sincere, Murphy. Did you catch this?
Yeah, he doesn't want any gifts, and he wants to make it clear to everybody, please don't buy him gifts.
Anything.
He just wants the visit. He doesn't need any stuff. He did say he'd be okay with a gift card for dinner or something like that.
He said, if you guys want to give me like a gift card.
Right.
What's so cute about him in the years past, look, the reason he says that is because he worries about, it's COVID, and he's correct. He worries about each family and their financial situation. So he wants you, me and you, to spend our hard-earned money on our children and our family. He was making that very clear. He's like, you've got Taylor and Phoebe, and they're both doing this, and they're driving. I don't want you guys to spend money on me. He's like, I've got all I need. And when he did that, he spread his hands out, look around me. I've got all I need. And he does, and he means that, and I know he means that. So if I do anything for him, maybe I'll bake him something. He loves sweets. But it's so cute whenever in the years past when you do gift him and give him stuff, when it's gift cards, he slips those in his pocket so fast. And you can see him touch his pocket to make sure they're there.
Yeah.
And in the past when I've given him, like I used to make mix for everybody. You know that. I make mix with peanuts and M&Ms and raisins and chocolate chips and all that. I got to where I would go, I'd make him that and bring it to him. Then I'd go visit him and there'd be nothing left but peanuts. And I realized, oh, he's just chocolate.
Yeah.
So I just started giving him just chocolate. But when he gets stuff like that for his birthday or whatever, you can see him hide it.
Yeah, you can tell the stuff he really likes.
It's so funny. It's like, Papa, nobody here is going to jack that from you.
Well, you never know who might take it.
He's just such a lesson. Like with every sentence and every topic that you switch to, he's such a lesson.
Do you ever get
so beautiful?
I don't know if jealous is the word, but envious of the fact that his life is so simple? It's like,
I don't get envious because so much has been taken away. The fact that his life is simple is because that's the way he chooses to see it.
Oh.
He's told me after my grandmother died, the love of his life, he said that, this is really hard. He said, but happiness is a choice and I'm going to be happy. He said that.
Yeah.
So much has been taken from him. I'm not envious.
Yeah, I think it's that trade-off with any person who's a senior citizen. And maybe this is just the way it's supposed to be because there are things you can't do anymore, but your appreciation for things tends to change.
Go up, yeah.
Right. And so, it's like everything, Sam. It's a trade-off. There's no perfect anything. And, what's really also sweet to me about Papa is he's living in a house that he literally built himself. I mean, it was his hands on the hammer. He was the one who added the second story with help, of course. He wasn't doing it all by himself. But it's a home that he built. It's very, very simple. And where he's sitting and where we're visiting is literally just 3 chairs. He has a TV tray next to his chair and a stand on the other side of it too. He's got tables on either side so he can reach what he needs. And there's a lamp and there's a TV and he's got his guitar. I mean, he literally. Oh, and he's got a pot of coffee usually going on too.
The all-day coffee.
Yeah.
When he lost almost everything in a flood, and we were slowly helping him put stuff back into his home. The curtains had been ruined, so there were no curtains. We had thrown those out, and I remember visiting him, and he had no curtains up, and I was like, Papa, I have some extra panels that I took down because they didn't match my room or whatever, and I was like, I'm happy to give them to you, and he goes, okay, sweetie. And I said, but you need to look at them and make sure, this is 5 years ago, I'm like, you need to look at them and make sure that you like them because I was thinking they were ugly and not in style anymore. And he's like, oh, I like them already. He said, I like them already, meaning they're free.
Yeah.
And you're going to give them to me? It's a completely different state of mind that he lives in. That's a beautiful place. You are right. And you're right to maybe, Sam, be envious of that simpleness because he does have that and it's beautiful.
There's a lot of complicated stuff around us, and I mean it's funny you say that. I wasn't envying it yesterday, but I was sitting there just thinking about that simplicity because the conversations that he's having with you really are about the most important things. I mean, it's really not. It's he laughs, he cuts up. He's still a very funny person. But many of the things that he ruminates on, which is what a lot of people that age do, it's fine. Right. It's just the simple things. It's the happy times. It's all of those things that make the visit wonderfully simple. So to me, I actually find it therapeutic. Probably it's our chance to experience that simplicity versus be envious of it.
Right. He and he also brought up something that is true for anybody getting older. And that means us too. Like any adult know
what?
This.
We're getting older? What?
All adults are getting older. Children too. But he was like, I can't remember a lot of little things like from now or last week or, a couple of years ago. He says, but I can remember my childhood vividly.
Wow.
And he started talking about these 3 mules, work mules that they had. Like when he grew up.
Was this a setup to a joke?
No.
Oh. There were these 3 mules.
Sounds like it.
He had it was a hard upbringing, although he didn't know it was hard because it was all he knew. They didn't have electricity. They had no money. He said they had all they needed as far as food because they were on a farm. And he said, I had these 3 mules, and he had never told me the names of his mules, but he remembered them clearly.
Yeah.
So he was pointing out the fact that he can remember that clearly, but he can't tell you anything about last month specifically. He said the 3 mules were named Beck,
Dan.
Oh, Dan.
I thought-
Beck, Dan, and his mule was Little Red.
Isn't that cute?
He had the smaller mule because he was
Yeah.
a kid and he was working it. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
So-
but when you think about what he has seen, he said that they didn't get electricity until he was 11.
Yeah.
Because like Jody said, they lived in the country. I mean, it was farmland. They raised their own food. That's what they did. And now, I mean, he's sitting there with a flip phone in his pocket.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I guess I shouldn't complain that I didn't get cable till I was 17.
Yeah, you can't.
Maybe
You
not.
really shouldn't. It's all perspective. It's all perspective.